Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Sports Stuff video. Today, we are talking about Week 8 of the NFL season. So, you guys do enjoy, please do like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into Week 8 of Nick's picks of the week. So, you guys enjoy. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. Starting it off, obviously, Thursday Night Football's already passed. I would have picked the Chargers and beat the Vikings. I am a little shocked how bad the Vikings offense looked. I've been saying this run game all year has been really poor. Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones are not the same running backs they used to be. Obviously, this is more credit to the 49ers rushing offense for why Jordan Mason looks like unplayable, basically. And this offensive line, obviously both tackles are in and out of the lineup for the Vikings, but it is piss poor, this offense. And with Carson Wentz back there, they had a good week, one or 2 weeks with him, but the injuries have caught up. And I just don't see the Vikings being competitive this year if this is the type of offense with JJ McCarthy and Carson Wentz are going to have. Chargers, Arondé Gadsden's doing a great job. Trey Harris finally shows up on the board. Happy for him. So 37-10. Good job on the Chargers. Starting off, we have the Jets at the Cincinnati Bengals. As of right now, I think I am going to take the Cincinnati Bengals, as much as it pains me to say it. The Jets, if Justin Fields is still going to be their starting quarterback, which we obviously do not know yet, they're still saying they're in between Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields. They don't want to announce who it's going to be playing their quarterback position. I'm a little worried still. I mean, its offensive line is not playing great. Justin Fields, obviously he's not throwing the ball. It's been a lot of criticism of him in the last 2 weeks of people watching the film, and he's not pulling the trigger. And is this Jets team similar to those 0-10 Lions team? We don't know. Obviously I think the Jets have a better defense in that year the Lions had. I think overall they have a better wide receiver one. I think the running back is better as well. Offensive line is pretty comparable, but is the big lynch point the quarterback, right? Jared Goff is obviously better than Justin Fields, and there's nothing really that the Jets have at quarterback that's gonna give me any faith that they can beat the Cincinnati Bengals, especially if Joe Burrow just plays mediocre. Like if he throws for like 250, 2 touchdowns and an interception, that should be enough to beat the Jets because their offense cannot score points. And the one thing that the Bengals have is their offense can score points. So I'm going with the Bengals beating the New York Jets, and the New York Jets continuing their losing streak, being 0-8 this year. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots. As much as it hurts me, I am going to take the New England Patriots. I think the Browns can win this game. I think it's very winnable. But at the same time, we know what Drake May's doing right now. He's a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. The offense overall for the Patriots is better than the Cleveland Browns. However, I do think the Cleveland Browns defense is significantly better than the Patriots defense. I think they get to the quarterback better. I think they get higher pressure rate. I have a feeling that their secondary is going to be able to lock down mediocre wide receiver talent in Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas. I do think it's going to be a good game. It might be like a 14-10 victory one way or another. I just don't see either offenses beating up on the other defenses. And again, the Patriots defense, they're lucky that right now they're about to face off against one of the worst offenses in the league. And the Browns, can they continue the success they had last week against the Miami Dolphins? I don't know. I don't want to say yes or no. I do want to say that if the Browns offense can just score 20 points in any game this season without help from the defense, purely just off of we start at the 30, we march on the field 70 yards and score a touchdown. If they can get 3 touchdowns a week, they can win almost every game. The issue is their offense cannot do that. So I'm going to go to the New England Patriots with their offense getting enough points to beat the Browns and the Browns offense not doing enough to win any games. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to the Indianapolis Colts. The Titans, right now, Cam Ward is statistically the worst quarterback in the league. Do I think he's the worst quarterback in the league? Not by a large margin. I think Cam Ward is significantly better than multiple guys on teams right now. And I think that his overall roster around him is awful. Just downright awful. His offensive line is laying up the second most amount of sacks and pressures. His wide receivers are Elik Enyemanyur, a rookie, Chimere Adike, another rookie, and a bunch of practice squad guys. I do not like the Tennessee Titans offense. Tajay Spears is their starting running back. That's a joke. And their defense outside of Jeffrey Simmons is a joke. L'Jarius Sneed has been a bust since they traded for him. And, obviously, Cedric Gray, I believe, is their linebacker, is number 3 in tackles right now. But they have some bright spots that are interesting, but I just don't see a single chance of the Tennessee Titans beating the 6-1 Indianapolis Colts. So I'm going to go with the Colts, who are on a hot streak, who are currently on pace to have the #1 offense of this century so far. Next, we have this 49ers at the Houston Texans. I am going to go to the San Francisco 49ers. Mac Jones, yes, last week it was a little bit of a rough game for Mac Jones, but Mac Jones has done an amazing job with Kyle Shanahan this year. George Kittle and had a pretty solid game back, but him and Kendrick Bourne, Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne reigniting from New England to San Francisco. He's been amazing. Kendrick Bourne has been the exact wide receiver that Mac Jones needed. This to be a consistent 80 yards a guy for him. We've had Ricky Pearsall in and out of the lineup. Brandon Ayuk has not played a game this year. Christian McCaffrey's top 10 in receiving yards as a running back. This offense, even without Brock Purdy, even with all the injuries and hurt guys in their wide receiver core, is still managing to win games and be competitive. And their defense, even without Dre Greenlaw and Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and Talanoa Hufanga and Travarius Ward, are trying to show up every single week. And the Houston Texans, man, their offense is so bad. I don't understand it. I don't understand why C.J. Stroud cannot develop. I don't understand why Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel can't develop at wide receiver. I don't understand why Dalton Schultz is not a bigger part of this offense. It makes no sense. Everything about this Texans offense makes no sense. So I'm going to go with the 49ers, knowing what their offense is going to be with Mac Jones. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Carolina Panthers. While I think I do think that the Panthers can win this game, I got to put my money on Josh Allen and James Cook. The last 3 or 4 weeks has been really rough for the Buffalo Bills. Even in games that they've won, it's not been a convincing win. And in games that they've lost, they've played very bad. And for the Panthers, they're doing really good. I mean, they're 4-3 right now. They are a winning team. And I thought last year that's what they would be. This year, I think I had them at 8-9 or 9-8. They are definitely playing over my expectations. Bryce Young, the last 5 weeks, has looked phenomenal. Their defense has looked phenomenal the last 5 weeks. They've really kicked in the high gear. I'm hoping this continues. But the Buffalo Bills are a very hard team. Probably the number one litmus test guys for the Carolina Panthers this year. And I think the Buffalo Bills are still a tier above the Panthers. Like, the Bills are trying to win a Super Bowl. The Panthers are trying to have a winning season. 2 very different expectations for the season. So 2 very different outcomes for the game. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go to the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the Miami Dolphins, it looks like the team gave up. Against the Browns, no one played well on either side of the ball for the Dolphins. No one on defense got after Dylan Gabriel. No one on offense made a big play. Jalen Waddle looked like he gave up. Devon Achane looked like he is the only guy in the offense that tried. Darren Waller got hurt, is already back on IR. Their offensive line is bad. Tua Tagovailoa is piss poor this season. The Atlanta Falcons are going to win this game. And I think it could be multiple sacks against Tua Tagovailoa. Probably an interception or 2. I expect Xavier Watts, who loves to jump routes and go after the ball, he's probably going to get an interception or 2 himself. But his defense for the Falcons the last few weeks has really started, gelling better and better. And I think when it comes again to the quarterback, I trust the Atlanta Falcons against this Miami Dolphins offensive line to get the Tua. And I trust this offense for the Falcons to demolish the defense for the Miami Dolphins. And this could be the game where this is going to force multiple trades for the Dolphins, right? Maybe they trade a Jalen Phillips, a Bradley Chubb, a Minka Fitzpatrick, a Kader Kahu, a Jordan Brooks. Maybe this is the moment where they realize it's not the roster we need to have to win. Let's move on and find other people. Next, we have the Bears at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. The Bears have a lot of injuries right now, but at the very same time in that sentence, the Ravens are butchered by injury, right? Lamar Jackson, yet again, is not playing this week, and Derrick Henry has been awful without Lamar Jackson. No wide receivers are doing anything without Lamar Jackson. Snoop Huntley is going to be their starting quarterback, not even Cooper Rush. Snoop Huntley is going to be their quarterback. Their offensive line is being okay. It's mediocre right now, but everything else in offense is awful right now without Lamar Jackson, because without Lamar, there is no Baltimore Ravens offense. And defensively, I mean, this is one of the worst defenses in the league. Zach Orr is going to get fired no matter what at the end of the season. If he isn't fired mid-season, he will get fired no matter what at the end of the season. I think there's a good chance that what's the offensive coordinator's name? I'm blanking on it. I know it. I'm blanking on his name. Their offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, he's doing the best he can with backups, but even without Lamar, this offense should not look this bad. So I think it's a very good chance that the Ravens continue to lose. You're going to see a Harbaugh and Monken complete wipeout from the roster. So I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears, who are currently on a winning streak, who currently are doing everything they can to win as many games as they can. I'm going with the Chicago Bears to upset the Baltimore Ravens. Not even really an upset, but culturally and visually it's going to be an upset because like everyone knows what the Ravens can be and the Bears what they have been, and the Bears beat the Ravens. That's going to be a significant thing in the culture. Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Denver Broncos. Shocker, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, I get it. The Broncos are good. They're a good team. They are technically one flag away from being 6-1 and being the number 1 seed in the AFC. I get it. When they face the Colts, one flag caused the Colts to score a touchdown. They won the game. If that doesn't happen, they're 6-1. They're the 1 seed. But this offense is a joke. It is a complete joke. It is not a good offense. The only reason they could win this game is because the only thing worse of a joke of their offense is the defense of the Dallas Cowboys. One of the worst defenses in the league, and Jerry Jones is actively trying to trade for a star defensive player. Guess what? You had that guy and you traded him. Like, I'm shocked that 8 weeks into the season, they're already trying to get another Micah Parsons when they just traded away Micah Parsons. Did I hate the trade at the time? No, because I thought it was a really smart trade. You didn't want to pay him. You got 2 first-round picks out of it to redo your roster. You can add more guys on the defensive side of the ball. Because personally, your offense is fine. You have enough weapons on offense. You don't need to worry about offense in this draft. Just draft defense heavy for the next year or two. And, the Cowboys are already trying to trade for someone because they feel like the window is open right now. But listen, the Broncos defense has been mediocre the last few weeks, and their offense has been awful. The Dallas Cowboys offense has been top 5 in the league with a bottom 5 defense. So the Dallas Cowboys, no matter what, are going to put up points. The question is, can the Denver Broncos offense put up points as well? I am not putting money on the Broncos putting up enough points to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I can't do it. Next, Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Listen, I get it. There's no way the Green Bay Packers let Aaron Rodgers beat them. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. There's no way the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers are going to beat the Green Bay Packers, because there's no way the Green Bay Packers are going to let themselves lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only team the Packers have lost to is the Cleveland Browns, and they tied with the Cowboys. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are that much better than the Cowboys, and I don't really think they're that much better than the Browns. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback, but when it comes to the overall team, the Packers, they know how to get down the field. And the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive back room is not good. They don't really have a good corner. They don't really have a good safety. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey at the tail end of his career is still a starter. Joey Porter, when healthy, is a starter. Darius Slay is fine. But when it comes down, nuts and bolts to how can you stop this offense of the Green Bay Packers, they don't have the defensive backs to beat this roster. So in my opinion, the Green Bay Packers, all you gotta do is throw enough balls, and they're gonna burn the secondary. And when it comes to defensive line, yes, the Steelers are good, but I think the offensive line for the Packers is slightly better. So for me, I think Josh Jacobs in this offense and is gonna beat up on this defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And offensively, the Steelers, I don't think can beat this defense for the Packers. They've done a really good job the last 2 or 3 years with Jeff Hafley to completely change the culture of this defense. So for me, I'm going to the Green Bay Packers, Micah Parsons getting to Aaron Rodgers, and ending his storybook defeat of the Green Bay Packers. Next, we have the Commanders at the Kansas City Chiefs. I am going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm done betting against them. I'm done doing it. Listen, the Commanders, I was really hoping they'd have a better year than they had so far. But when it comes to having the oldest defense in the league that cannot get to the quarterback, that cannot stop the run, that cannot stop a pass defense, it's an issue. You thought, oh man, we have a really young rookie quarterback. Let's try and build around him the oldest team possible. Makes no sense. Why are we paying Bobby Wagner $10 million to be a starting linebacker? Why are we paying multiple guys, Von Miller at defensive end? Why is Von Miller the starting defensive end for this team? Why are we not investing money and draft capital in a high caliber young defensive end to get to the quarterback? No. Let's spend less money on a 35-year-old pass rusher who's obviously over the hump. Let's trade for Laremy Tunsil, who's obviously a little over the hump. I don't understand it. I don't know what the Commanders are doing. Josh Connerly has not looked that great this year either. I worry about his development. But for me, the Kansas City Chiefs, everything I just said about the Commanders cannot be said about the Chiefs. Yeah, Mahomes, no matter who he has as a wide receiver, he's going to deliver the ball. And defensively, the Chiefs, the last 3 weeks, have shown up and improved every single week to prove they're still a force in the NFL. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Washington Commanders. Next, we have the Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a 0% chance the Giants beat the Eagles. There's no way that a Eagles defense that every week practices against Jalen Hurts gets beat by a worse Jalen Hurts and Jackson Dart. Because Jalen Hurts, when push comes to shove, can throw the ball. Can throw the ball really well. But Jackson Dart cannot throw the ball right now. If you watch that game against the Broncos, it says he had 3 touchdowns. One of them were a dump off that was all yak. Another one was a tipped ball that then landed in the receiver's hands wide open. And the third one was a wide open pass where the guy had no defender within 15 yards of him. Those are 3 passes that anyone in the NFL can make, any backup in the NFL can make. But he could not make the big time throws one-on-one, double teams to get to his receiver. It all relied on him running the ball or Cam Scatterbo running the ball. That's what it's been the last 4 weeks, and I just don't think a team that practices against Jalen Hurts all the time is going to get fooled by Jackson Dart. I do worry about the Eagles secondary. Injuries have really hampered this Eagles defense this year, but listen, when push comes to shove, I'm going to trust the reigning Super Bowl champions in Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, this offensive line, Devontae Smith, and unfortunately, somehow Nick Sirianni. I'm shocked how much I've turned on Nick Sirianni. Do I think he's a good coach still? Not really, but my negative opinion of him has been superseded by his skill. Like, he has done a very good job, and I'm done kind of betting against him. So for me, I'm going with a team that has a better coach, better offense, better defense, and it's proven to be winners. Next, finally, we have the Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. As much as I think the Saints had a fun storyline this year with Spencer Rattler, I'm going to pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're doing everything right to win football games. This is a team to beat in the NFC South. This is one of the teams to beat in the NFC. You know, there's almost no team I would take over the Buccaneers. Obviously, the Lions beat them last week, and the Buccaneers played really bad. But I'd take the Buccaneers over the Bears, the Packers, the Eagles, the 49ers. It's them and the Lions who you need to beat in the NFC. And the New Orleans Saints are not a team that cause any issues for this Buccaneers team. They have a better offensive line, better wide receivers, better quarterback, and somehow a better defense. Because even though I don't like this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, it is better than this awful, awful Saints defense. So for me, I'm going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pretty easily. So if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. That was week 8 of Nick's Picks of the Week. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to win a game that I said that lost, and who do you think is going to lose a game that I said won a game. And obviously, all the teams on bye, can't talk about them, but, you know, this is a fun slate. This is a fun slate for this week. We'll be light when it comes to like red zone watching. So, yeah, if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.